Natalie Hepburn. This is Dale Clay and Jimmy Fleming, and I just hit the mic. Nothing new on my end. I'm always a klutz. But we are on Music on the Mountain, and we are going to do an interview and a couple of songs. And we're going to start out with Burning Ring. And this song, I actually wrote it for a complicated relationship that I was in, and it was kind of more along the lines of Ring of Fire, which is what Johnny Cash did. But it's more June's perspective on the matter and how she felt about that relationship, which at the time was how I was feeling. So it helped me move on.
That's all, folks.
Well, you have definitely achieved something by that, because I had a discussion with Mike Boyle a while back, and we were talking about how, as you know, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
That you can bring in, you know, I won't say name dropping, but your foundation is a concept based around other artists and things like that.
Yeah.
And the majority of people that do that, it's not well thought out, it's throwaway, it's I'm this, I'm that, and I'm gonna link it, and, and then occasionally somebody gets it right. You guys got it right.
Thank you
So,
very much. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it was late one night coming home from where I work at one of the 3 nursing homes, well, 2 nursing homes and home health. And it just popped in my head. And it was just like, it was almost like I needed to like vent those feelings or just kind of just purge them and leave them be. And they say, and I don't know how you feel about this, but some of your best songs are written within 5 to 10 minutes. Like it just kind
So
of
true.
comes to you and then,
yeah, you might have something that hangs around for 20 years.
I've heard about that. I've not been lucky
And-
yet with that, but
Then you might just be almost automatic writing. And I've had both situations. I
Yeah.
think I'm probably in the process of 110 songs.
that's so
you
cool.
know,
wow.
but yeah, that's quite an achievement. But
Thank you.
and like I talked to you on Facebook.
Yeah.
A definite tip of the hat to being a caregiver
Thank
because
you.
The reason that I dropped out, I lost my momentum of a career was to take care of my father.
Absolutely.
And, there's a lot of people that wouldn't do that. Not to pat myself on the back. Some people
No,
are
it's
not,
true.
Oh, yeah.
are just simply not built for that.
Right.
And you really don't know how strong you are until you go through that.
Yeah.
So in the 5-6 years that I really haven't been at it,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because this area has so much
It
talent
does.
and it's generational.
Yeah.
I came here permanently in the mid 80s and I've seen that shift.
Yeah.
And you get the old guard and you get new blood and
Yeah.
then you go and take 5 years off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come back and I'm hearing I'm going, I've not ever heard of these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's 17 other people that I'm going, who?
Yeah.
What? And so this is kind of nice for me because I'm going to find out what's been going on while I was over here doing something altogether different.
Well, we feel just as honored being
Yeah.
able to sit with you for what all you've done and achieved.
Yes.
So,
Well,
And hopefully it's
Yeah.
like a give and take.
Yeah.
It's to where you got new blood helping the old blood, and the old blood helping the new blood.
yeah, it's a good
that's
You know,
probably the
it's-
best way you could put it.
Yeah.
Revitalizing, you finding a new voice
Yeah.
with new voices. So
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
think-
Absolutely.
It's wonderful what you did for your dad. I mean, I know that a lot of people say, well, it should be instinctual, but I can tell you firsthand it's not. It's
Yeah.
not like that. So
No.
it's appreciated when I do see or hear about family members taking care of their family. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I was playing a gig, and luckily it was at Jerry's.
Oh, okay.
So I had a 45-minute drive or half an hour if we put the pedal down a little bit or whatever,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at that time, I kind of had this tag team thing going on with the guys in a band called Juju Guru. They're from North Carolina.
I've heard of them.
And they were a two-man band, same as Roger Downs and I used to run Uncle Mont. So we had a thing going that
Yeah.
when I would put a band together and I would go to North Carolina, we would gang up and play a bar and double bill. And then we'd go play the festival at Little Creek, which I highly recommend once this COVID nightmare is over. I mean, if you want to go down to play to 500 people that are going to listen to what you
Gosh.
Yeah.
are up to and you're going to be appreciated.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
So those you know, these guys have driven all the way up to Ohio, and
Wow.
you know, it's Chillicothe turn situation.
Yeah.
They, I did my opening set. I think I was playing with Steve McBride. I was playing with Travis Elder. I think Matt Moon might have been there.
Cool. Yeah. Good.
And we were doing our thing, and our thing was over, and we were watching part of their set. I kept telling my wife at the time, I was like, I've got a really, really bad vibe. And I think that I need to go home.
You should always listen to them. Yes.
Yeah. And I went and spoke with them, and I said, you know, guys, I hope you don't think I'm being a weirdo or flaking out on you.
Yeah.
You know, you're up from North Carolina, but when I start feeling the weird juju, I
Yeah.
pay attention to it.
Yeah. I don't blame you a
And
bit.
what happened was we got home at 11 o'clock at night. And my dad is slumped over in a chair, and I've grabbed the pulse oximeter, and his heart rate was 19.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
911, Adina, pacemaker. He comes out of it. We get him back home, and I said, I'm retired until his fight is over.
I
Right.
respect that.
I'm not doing it. And
Yeah.
I just wrote and recorded projects at the house, and I looked after him. And,
Yeah.
you know, because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
And you're
I'm
back
a
into
damaged case,
God, we all are.
you know, but you know, it's kind of, you know, you do a thing like that, and you have to reacclimate to what the world is. And,
Right.
Sure.
You know, you start finding out
Yeah.
all these new things that are going on.
Yeah.
So,
It's amazing what happens in just 5 years.
Yeah.
yeah,
Changes a lot.
Yeah.
exactly. So, what is tell me about your backgrounds.
I come from Circleville, Ohio. I have my mama, my dad, and my brother. So Lisa, Todd, and Derek. Growing up, I was always like into music big time. So like by the age of 2, I was like rocking on the floor to Conway Twitty. And then as soon as I could sing, that was the first person I was like in love with. And I tried to mimic him, but my, you know, being a female was a little tough trying to mimic a male's voice. But I think that's where I got the lower tone. And I just, for a while there, I wasn't even doing music. I didn't even know I could write. I just wrote these poems. And I tried a couple other studios, and I tried to link up with other people because I can't play that well or play the melody like I want in my head. I can sing it, and I can sing the way the notes should be and things like that, but I can't play it to convey like what that sounds like in my head. So I would go to multiple studios, and they're great people, but we just couldn't, there was no connection at the time. And it really wasn't until later that I found out that it was with Nevada Heart. Him and I sat down and we jived really well, and then he was like, no, you're a songwriter. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, no, it's a poem. And then it turned out to be, you know, I wrote songs, and I was like, oh, wow. And then Dale and I, we collaborated super well too, and I just felt really blessed about that because I was real nervous that, well, I found one person, but all these other people said, you know, nicely, that's not a song. It's, you know, it's a little bit unconventional or however you want to say it. And I was like, man, I'm not going to find nobody else. And then here comes Mr. Clay. And then now we're collaborating and writing songs together. So it's super cool. Like you can't just put all your eggs in one basket, and you just have to trust other people, as hard as that is. Sometimes I'm always like probably too trusting of a person, but it's gotten me, you know, some really great people in my life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where are you from, sir?
Well, let's see. There was this rock. No,
In Little Arkansas?
a little Arkansas, yeah. No, My musical career started a long time ago because I'm years old. No, I actually, the very first time I ever knew that I wanted to do music was I saw when it was first on TV, Elvis Aloha from Hawaii. That was, I saw that
Elvis.
and I sat there. I still remember I was standing there in the living room, and Mom loved Elvis too. And so we're standing there and I looked and I was like, I want to do that. And she was just like, well, okay, and got guitars and stuff like that. I didn't really start a musical career seriously until I was 20. Moved to Dayton, Ohio with a band called Archangel. I've got the pictures to prove it. I was hair metal all the way. And so, but yeah, just things, just your life develops and things change, and was in a few praise and worship bands and stuff like that. And then I was actually in a group for a while, Crossing Guard, and we did fairly well. We played out a lot. We did the one year I know we did over 52 shows. Mm-hmm. So for just a little local act, we were going out and doing stuff. Did praise and worship stuff for a long time. And then I was just like, this isn't what I want to do. It's good, it's great, everything else, but it's just not what I want to do. Quick side note with everything. I know 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people. And I really, really get it. This has been my best year ever. I'm serious. This has been an amazing year for me. January, I was ready to give up on music. I was literally, I'd actually sold 3 guitars. Sold guitars, and I was done. I had actually applied for a job at Walt Disney World. Actually got an interview. Everything else didn't pan out, and then all of a sudden this COVID thing hit. Well, right before the shutdown, I get this message from Laura Ami. It says, you need to get a hold of this woman. And I'm like, okay, what? And she's like, she needs a guitar player. And I was like, okay, whatever.
And I used to babysit her kids.
Yeah, she used to babysit her kids, so she knew. And so I was like, well, all right. Got a hold of her. Well, it was right at the beginning of April. Bam, the shutdown happened. So we kept in contact, and through video and texting and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And my whole world changed on May 3rd. Walked up, got out of the car, walked up, and I was like, I don't even need to audition. I was like, this is it. I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And I sat down. I still remember your face when I played a couple of songs, and I said, "Well, here, let's do this one." And it was the very first song she wrote. Mm-hmm. I did not know that. Mm-hmm. I did not know that. Brand New Day. Mm-hmm. And it was the very first song she had written, and she looks and she got done singing it, and she was like, "You learned my song?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm auditioning for you." I was like, yeah. And then I did, and then we did Reality after that. So,
yeah. Yes.
But yeah, this has been an amazing year. She's an amazing songwriter, amazing vocalist.
Thank you. Awesome.
I'm loving doing everything with her. We're we're like separated by years, but our minds. It just happened tonight. We finish each other's sentences now.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
So it's like, but yeah, musically, I'm I'm in a good spot, and it's all because of her. So yeah,
Same to
it's
you.
good.
The wheels are still running because
Yeah.
of our duo. So, and it does mean a lot. And honestly, like I have not had a good year for a lot of personal reasons.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
rough.
yeah. So it's been interesting, but it's helped me grow. And had I not had this duo, I would have lost my mind. I would have not had something that is like my therapy. Like I give therapy to people, people all the time at work, and sometimes you pour from an empty cup so much that you're just, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you're like, I need to drop this somewhere, and that's where you write and sing and play, and where we're out all the time and we're doing something on the live.
Yeah.
It's kind of kept my mind solid, especially being a healthcare worker in the COVID world. At the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to not my family, myself? I couldn't see my family for like 3 or 4 months.
Right.
It was crazy. It was just, and I know the whole world felt that.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know how to take all those patients' pain. I couldn't leave it at the door. I would bring it home with me, and that's how I roll, I guess. And it took a toll on me for a while.
Yeah, it did for a little bit. Yeah.
Well,
And it's-
it's a whole lot better than being cold-hearted and
Yeah.
clinical,
Yeah, that's true.
because I've been through a myriad of health conditions myself, and I've met some great people, and I've met some people that ought to be in the unemployment line because
Rotten
Yeah.
apples.
and their next stop would be, where do I buy a personality?
There you go.
How much does a sense of humor cost?
Yeah, exactly.
We got them on sale if you want one.
So,
Yeah, no, I agree. And people like that can like make or break you if you're in that situation. And it's just I don't know. It was an interesting year to say the least, but I definitely feel like I've gained wisdom from it, and also with writing and things like that. The song that we're going to play at the end is it's very deep. It comes from a lot of pain from a lot of places, but a lot of it stemmed from that pain that I felt with watching patients, it just want to hug their families and and them being so strong. And I kept telling them, like, they said that we were strong, and I was like, no. I was like, you have
Yeah.
no idea. I was like, you guys are so strong, you don't even like, it's their own little world in there, which I understand and we appreciate. We work in their home is how I say it.
right.
So it helped a lot with the music and helped kind of pour out emotion and things like that. So had it not been for this duo, it's who knows.
Right.
Would have had to buy a mind instead of a personality or something.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like me. I always say, I was like, well, I might have ended up on the front page of the newspaper for a bad reason.
That's right.
Charlie Manson wanted to be a famous musician. Look what
Yeah, there you go.
he got famous, all
He
right.
got
That's
famous.
right.
Good old Chuckles.
Oh yes, yes. Well, I own one of his albums, and that's just a mess. I used to cover Garbage Dump just because I could. Yeah. It caught on after a while.
Yeah.
And I always love the situations where people have no idea what you're doing, and they'd be like, "Did you write that?" No,
No.
didn't write that at all. So I saw you sang at the Ryman. So there's no point in asking if we have some Nashville stories, because
Yeah.
pretty well convinced that if I remember correctly, I've been there a few times.
A couple.
And, wow. But with what just happened on Christmas
Yeah.
morning, that's like,
Yes.
That was
but
cynical, evil,
I
cried.
like
It was,
I like what the mayor said. He says, you know, I'm tired of showing that we're still resilient.
yeah,
Yeah.
they've been through so much.
They have been
Makes
through
sense.
so much.
And they're still staying strong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have friends in Nashville, as do I, and I just immediately contacted them thinking, oh my gosh, are they okay? Checking their Facebook, even if I wasn't super tight with them, I was like, just checking on them. And I was
Right.
just, they have been through, like, on top of everything else that the whole world's dealing with. It's just, they're taking a beating and they're still standing. So,
Yeah. Yep.
very sad.
It seems like Nashville and New Orleans,
Yeah.
Yeah.
two of the places that are such a melting pot.
Yeah.
You know, because it certainly, I mean, my first experiences were thanks to my parents. I mean, my dad, and my mom were both music freaks, and we quite often made a pilgrimage down there, and Dad being connected in whatever form or fashion he was. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the company they worked for at the time sold a lot of clothing, and he sold to a lot of the bands. So, they
Oh, okay.
needed suits, and
Wow.
he wasn't doing the nudie suit. He's got no responsibility for some of the things that'll knock your eyeballs out. But he always managed to have us front row center seats at the Ryman when we
Wow.
would go. God knows how, I don't know. But,
Yeah.
so I'm down there with Marty Robbins in my face, and
Jeez.
things like that going on. Walking down Broadway to Ernest Tubbs record shop with two guys from Hee Haw,
Oh, jeez.
That's cool.
Doug Kershaw, the Louisiana
Yeah, uh-huh.
fiddle player,
Oh my goodness.
and then going in and being probably about 8 years old. Everybody's tall,
Yeah.
right? Ernest
Yeah.
Tubb was like,
Yeah.
"Hi." "Oh, I'm scared to death." And he's looking down like,
Yeah.
"Young man, are you a picker too?" And I'm going, "God, you're tall." So, I mean, you just run into every kind of, Lord, it's evolved
Yeah.
over the years, and I've seen that evolution. Been down there on many occasions, and never thought that I would ever perform there, and managed to pull that off a couple times.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Scott Collier's down there.
yeah, Scott's a good man.
Yeah. Well, Scott pulled a
Very
real.
talented.
He pulled a nice fast one on me.
What'd he do?
Well, we went with a band as such, which is something that I do. I know how to throw a band together with the right guys.
Yeah.
So off we go. And our first experience at playing at Tootsie's, because I really don't go anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
pretty much
uh-huh.
the same.
Why
Yeah.
bother?
Right.
The history is there.
yeah.
Yeah.
The ghosts are there. And our first experience wasn't too hot. There was something was off. So, you lick your wounds and you go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In there.
We go back, and then we just had a fantastic time.
That's awesome.
And we're bootlegging in because we're not being paid. So nobody's going to ask us for a union card.
Yeah.
If they ask you where you're from, it's not Ohio.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And
Murfreesboro.
well, due to my heritage, I'm from Pikeville, Kentucky.
Paco.
But, we did the night before, first night, and middle of the afternoon and the next day, we ended up right across the street of, some kind of sports bar kind of situation. And they are, having lunch, and, these guys are unwinding or whatever. And of course, I still drank back in those days. So, my prerequisite to be in any particular place was, have they got booze? Okay. I don't care where it is.
It just needs to be there.
Do they have alcoholic beverages?
That's right.
Can I get one? That's just
Then
the way
I'm
it
there.
went. And something struck me at the time, and I went, I looked at the guys, and I went, I didn't come down here to sit in a sports bar. Mm-hmm. We hit Tootsie's at 10 a.m. The music starts at 10 a.m. and it doesn't stop until 3 in the morning. And
Yeah.
that's what. So I'm gonna go across the way and see what's going on over at Tootsie's. I walk in, Scott's on stage, and next thing, it's like, my good friend Jimmy Fleming's here, and why don't you come on up? And so here I am. I figure, all right, I'm going to play a song or two. And, Scott's like, yeah, I need to take a little break for a minute. Here's the guitar.
Here's a guitar.
Tune. Hi, guys. I don't know you.
I'm from Pikeville, Kentucky.
How you doing? I'm going to do Mystery Train by Elvis. There's your Elvis,
Yeah.
right? Look back. I'm going to do a song by Graham Parsons. And I did those two songs. Then I went, thank you very much. But
Yeah.
Scott, man, he's like, oh no. No.
I said I'm taking a break.
Yeah, you keep going, right? And I'm like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you when this is over with. 2 hours.
Wow.
And at the end of the 2 hours, he comes back up, gets on stage, and I'm going to go to the bathroom and look for one of the mystery elusive beers. And, and he's like, where do you think you're going? I'm going, what are you talking about, man? He says, well, that guitar's already tuned funny anyway, so I'm just going, you're going to play guitar with us. And that went on for another 90 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the work ethic and the discipline and all these things that are going on.
Yeah.
We get done finally, and it's like, okay, I've been rode hard, but up wet. And he introduces me to the band after the fact. And he goes, yeah, these guys, they work with Loretta Lynn. This is I went, thank God you told me that now.
Afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
So, I mean, it
so
is,
cool.
That's played a big part in my life
Yeah.
from childhood as well. But what kind of fun experiences have you guys run into in that situation down there?
Oh, well, before I started doing like live music, I did a lot of national anthems. So my mom, I'll never forget this. She came back in my room, I think it was December 12th, and this was 2012, I believe. And she goes, well, she's like, I got you a gig. And I was like, okay, cool. Where's it at? She said, well, it's Nationwide Arena. And I said, I'm sorry. What?
Well,
She's like, yeah, well, you're going to sing the national anthem for the world's toughest rodeo. And I was like, I didn't process it. So I was like, okay. And then once I processed it, thank the Lord that it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, because I screamed so high. If it would have been the next day, I would have been in trouble. And it was just, there was a sold out crowd of more than 15,000. They had one section that they didn't have anybody in because of the bulls, but every other seat was completely sold out. And I remember feeling so small, but so grateful when I walked out, and I did trip, but nobody saw it because the lights were dim. And where they had all that mud and stuff, and I was already like trying to find my way. I didn't fall, but I caught myself, and then I got out in the middle, and then they went to turn the lights on, and it was so crazy because as I started to sing, I put my hand up just automatically. I'm real animated when I sing, and then the lights came on. And like, it was like this really, everything just worked out so beautifully that I was like, man. So I came back. We got to stay in like the VIP section under the stage. And we were back there with Josh Thompson. So I got to hang out with him. And it was like one of the first experiences that I was like, I want to do this so bad. Once I got past the nerves and stuff, I like blacked out there though. Like I remembered what I was supposed to do, but I remembered nothing around me other than the flag. And I was just, I remembered why I was singing the song. I think that's why I was able to kind of, get past all of that. But that was super cool. You want to go back and forth and share?
I don't, man. I don't know. I guess we were talking about this one the other night. I had written a song, and
Yes.
it's called "Man in the Middle." And honestly, now how that came about. Real quick story on how that came about. It was, and I've never even heard it. I don't even know. But I was watching an award show, and they said, yeah, Johnny Cash's song "Man in the Middle" and stuff like that. And I was like, "Man in the Middle? God, that sounds..." Boom, jumped up, and I wrote the song in 5 to 10 minutes. Well, I'd been doing it for years on my own and stuff. Well, Crossing Guard, we picked it up, and we did it on an album and everything. But we were playing these worship events. And so I'm doing this song and stuff, and so I'm doing the, and so I'm getting ready to play this song, and I start singing, and all of a sudden I was like, how you're there but you're not there, and I was like, oh my God, these people are singing the song back to me. They know my song. They know all the words to my song.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh my God. And you're sitting there going like, I have to keep singing. But I'm like, oh my God, these people know my song. That's probably one of the biggest highlights of my musical career so far. We're going to go big. But anyway, but yeah, to be out there and just, I'm just thinking I'm playing, another song, my other song. But yeah, all of a sudden you hear the audience singing the song back to you. And it's like, holy crap. That's in no way prideful. That's extremely humbling.
I would imagine. I've never had it happen to me, but that would blow your gourd.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
very, very humbling
Yeah.
to know that you've written something that touches somebody that they want to learn the words to it. So yeah, that was that's probably been my biggest highlight so far.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
I know that another one of my very first live shows, we opened for the Two Still Girls. They are a duet from The Voice. And that was at Pickaway County Fair. And so I was like, my very first, I don't know why, but right out the gate, I do these things real big. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm setting myself up here. But no, anyways, we went on to sing, and I had written this song called 1-800-PRAY, and it was about my Uncle Johnny, who I was super tight with. He was a Marine. He was always into music. I actually have his drum set now in my basement, which that's a...
Yeah.
It's, I can't even talk about it still, but it makes it means a lot. And so I wrote this song 1-800-PRAY for not only him but also my grandfather that had passed away. Well, 2 days before I went to go on stage, I also lost my cousin, and I just kind of felt so out of place. And also, right before I walked on stage, like an hour before, I had just gone out of a 5-year relationship. So it was a tumultuous, it was just a crazy day. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had all this emotion when I went to go sing this song. And the very first couple of lines, I started to cry. And I didn't know how to stop. Well, I was able to stop, and I finally, got through the song. And I went to walk off stage when we were done, and they asked for an encore. And I was like, I don't have any more songs. Like, this is literally all I've practiced. This is my first gig. So they, got up and kept saying encore, and I'm like, what do I do? So I was like, you know what? Back at Jerry's, and this reminded me of when you mentioned that. A lot of the times, because I couldn't play or anything like that, I would usually do a track. Well, sometimes we would forget the track. Well, I still wanted to sing. So I would use my foot and, like my Uncle Johnny, do some type of percussive work. And I just started singing a song, and I just started hitting my foot on the ground and clapping, and people stood up and were doing the same beat with me, and they gave me my beat, and I was able to sing that song, and it was so cool. It was just I don't even know how to explain it. And when I got off the stage, there was about 10 people that came up behind the fence and asked me for my autograph. Yeah. And I was like, what? I was like, what is going on? It was such a humbling experience, but I was like, I didn't know how to respond or how to act. And sometimes they say you have to have a certain poise or confidence. And I was like, this is just me. I'm just grateful for it. And one lady came up and she said, I heard that you said your cousin passed away a couple of days ago, Amy. And I was like, yeah. She said, well, I'm also your cousin. She's like, and that's my cousin. And she was bawling, and she reached over the fence and just held on to me, and we both cried together. And that was in that moment, I was like, this is why I'm writing. This is why I'm sharing my heart. One of my favorite lines in a song by Brother Osborne is, pouring your heart out to strangers is a strange kind of fix, but we love it. And it's so therapeutic to be able to share that with other people, and then somebody else come up to you and be like, I felt that pain. Thank you for, bringing that to life. I thought I was the only one. And you're not. We go through so much stuff together quietly that we don't even realize it unless it's through music. And we can kind of, sneak inside those cracks and all those lines and that melody and find some type of unity worldwide. So I kind of, when she did that, I was just like, wow. It's a really cool moment. I had a blast.
I'm thinking of two funny moments.
What? On our show?
Yeah, it's our show. Yeah, really.
We're goofy.
If you ever watch our live streams, what you see is what you get, man.
Right.
I'm serious. Oh God, that was hilarious. We were laughing so hard last night, we just about got sick. I mean, we were laughing so hard. But no, the first one was at the Cozy Inn. And this
remember where this is going.
This lady comes up and goes, and she's looking around and stuff, and she puts money into Ashley's
pocket.
It was in the pocket, in the front pocket.
She was super cool.
And I just, as jokingly, I just went, "Where's mine?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "I'm out of money," and stuff. And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So we move on to the next song, whatever, and we're playing this song, and all of a sudden, here she comes, and I'm like, "Oh, what?" She walks around behind me, and I was like, "What the heck is she doing?" She's got money in her hands, and she walks up, and she's going. Finally, she just takes it and just shoves it down my shirt.
Yeah, he's just still playing.
I'm still playing away. But no, the other one was Stockroom 601.
Oh, and the guitar.
We're sitting there, and I always, whenever I did, no, I didn't do it obviously here because we're not up, but when I do, you loop your cord over your straps so that if you step on it, it doesn't come unplugged.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
So we're sitting there, and we're doing the.
It was Mississippi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're sitting there doing Down in Mississippi.
Up to no good.
All of a sudden, it's right before the lead break, or whatever, and all of a sudden I'm like, "You're hearing it," and I'm like, oh, well. And I said, we're going wireless. And I ran out into the audience.
Jumped off the stage.
Ran it off. And I'm standing next to this one lady, and she's just like, she's sitting there, and all of a sudden she just goes, oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somehow we kept on beat and everything. I was just standing on the stage still
and
singing.
all of a sudden I'm out there, and I was like, oh my gosh, she can't hear me.
Nope.
And I turned around, I went,
Yeah.
I was like, here we go, So,
So fun. It was
yes.
a blast.
Yes, we have fun.
Yeah.
We have fun on stage. We've had that. I think we only had one concert where we were just like, something's off.
Yeah.
Something's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
right.
It's like that-
But we still have fun. We still go through and we still do what we
go
got to
ahead and
do
do
and
it.
stuff like that. And then at the end of the night, we're like, God, what happened? And then we talk it out, we figure it out,
Yeah.
and then move on to the next show.
Yeah, I was doing a gig at the Cellar Lounge back when the Harvester restaurant heydays, and a guy walked up to me and, he's like, what do you do when you don't feel like performing? And I said, you go ahead and you do it anyway. And generally within maybe the first 10 minutes, and suddenly you forgot all about the mood that you were in. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you lose yourself into it. And, if you want to heal yourself and,
Absolutely.
boost your own ego.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
If we're all prone to that, and
Yeah, of
everybody has got some degree of that, or we wouldn't be like doing it at all. But
Yeah.
as long as you keep it in check, everything's cool.
There's times sometimes I think the audience forgets that we are human.
Yeah.
We're human and we have emotions and everything else. So
I find it weird that, the autograph, people ask you for an autograph.
yeah.
Personally, I find it strange.
Yeah.
I've only done it a couple times, and the first time that ever happened was at J.R. Valentine's. We had been playing a gig in Portsmouth,
Yeah.
so we're getting in late. 3 in the morning or something insane
Yeah.
like that. And I kind of look over and I'm going, crap, that's David Allen Coe.
Oh.
Jeez.
He had gig at the backstage. And we had our gig, so obviously I knew that he was, going to be there, but are we attending? No, because
Yeah.
we have our own gig to do.
Right.
So he's over there, and it's like, just wave, and there are people over there walking up to him, not our crowd,
Yeah.
but they're over there, and the woman finally, one of the waitresses or cooks or something, she's like, leave the man alone, can't you see he's trying to eat his eggs? And I'm half in the bag and about to lose it over it, just going, yeah, there's a few people I've run into that I will not bother them about that kind of
Right.
thing. And
Yeah.
well, here comes somebody up. I don't know why, because I think I was in the Wild River Band at the time or whatever, and I look at it, and so somebody goes, "Can we have your autograph?" And I was like,
Who am I again?
"Yeah, you can have my autograph." And my buddy from high school was our drummer at the time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And I just I took the placemat, turned it upside down on the white side,
Yeah.
got a pen, and wrote, "Where's my breakfast?" "Breakfast," I said, "Jimmy Fleming's." And handed that over. And he's on the floor laughing. There's a cop standing over in the corner. It's like, I don't know how we're going to stay out of jail tonight. Anyway, but it's a very awkward thing. And I've got
Yeah.
certain little pet peeves and things like, it's somebody says something about your fans. And I'm like, I swear to God, if you ever hear the word my fans come out of my mouth, you have full permission to shoot me in the head. Because that is the point where I have lost myself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I prefer to say friends
Yeah.
because that's
Cool.
really what they are.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know them yet, but,
Yeah,
will be.
exactly.
that's
The strangers
what
that are friends you haven't met yet.
Absolutely.
that's it. So you guys got another tune for us?
Yeah, we do.
You got one?
Oh my God, thank you. This is one that I wrote actually this summer, and Dale and I collaborated together on this. I wrote the lyrics and he wrote the music. It's a very deep song. It's as personal as I've ever been in my life with any type of lyrics. So I'm excited to share it.
Face down in the dirt, I stumble, can't seem to rise above. Let go of all ambition, circle back to reclaim love. All the noises from the outcast, on every step I take. Vice grips and chains unbroken, and nothing fixes by mistake. No. So it goes. We may fall flat, face down, lose it all, relate to some and some none at all. Mess we make in this crazy place of this thing called life. We may fail at times, break down and cry, give up hope and then see the light. Love we take with amazing grace creates our reason why. I've been beat down and thrown out, called names and judged for fun, cried creeks of sorry mornings I didn't want him to wake up, laid down by shame and mountains, guilt as high as you can see, broken pieces of my story, shared just to set you free. No, so it goes. We may fall flat, face down, lose it all, relate to some and some none at all. Mess we make in this crazy place of this thing called life. We may fail at times, break down and cry, give up hope and then see the light. Love we take with amazing grace creates our reason why. We may fall flat, face down, lose it all, relate to some and some none at all. Mess we make in this crazy place of this thing called life. We may fail at times, break down and cry, give up hope and then see the light. Love we take with amazing grace creates our reason why. Face down in the dirt, dare to stumble.
Wow.
Thank you.
I didn't know really what to expect. I started thinking I was going to do homework and really sit and listen and check. And, I went, well, all right, you got cover songs are one thing, originals are another. Your originals are better than the cover songs.
Thank you.
Thank
fact,
you. Really
very
appreciate
much.
that very much.
You're on to something, folks.
Thank you. That
Thank
means a
you.
lot.
Keep it up.
I
Yes.
appreciate
Keep
that.
it up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any parting shots? Anything you want to tell anybody? Because what I've been able to do is, the team on this that
Yeah.
are listening and paying attention, even though it's taped. It's hitting Ireland, England, Amsterdam, places like that.
Wow.
Friends that I've built over, through Facebook over
my
the years.
goodness.
So there might only be 120, but they're representative of the globe, and that's the idea of this: is I want you to get heard in Germany.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
really appreciate that,
Super
yeah.
cool.
And
I guess the biggest thing, and we say this all the time on live streams and when we go out and stuff like that, is, for lack of a better word, fans. We really appreciate the people who come out to the shows, people who listen, who watch the live streams, because if not, then all we're doing is playing to the four walls. It's, you have a few, very, very, very few artists who are like, I'm all that. Very few. But yeah, majority of the artists are. If it's not for the people out there listening, then I might as well be at Kroger stocking shelves. I don't think of myself as anything special. I seriously don't. But if somebody's willing to listen, I really go on my way to thank them and appreciate the fact that they're doing that. So to anybody watching and listening and everything else, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I always, like with music, I feel like I said earlier, not only is it therapeutic, but and part of that, like what you had mentioned, is healing. And I think also when you get somewhat of a platform, even if it's to 5-10 people, and someone just listens to what you have to say, it's phenomenal. And it's just like, sometimes it's like hard to process in a good way. But with that being said, it's like, if you can touch somebody out there, one person, change their whole, maybe they're having one of the worst days of their life, and they hear a 3-minute song. I know my whole day is shifted around about a song that I've heard, and I'm like, oh, okay, life's not that bad. And there's other people out there that are dealing with the same stuff, and it shifted my whole, mindset. And that's all I can hope and pray for, is especially with the originals, is that it changes somebody's mind for that day, because you never know what people are going through. You think you do, and you just don't. And I've been there. I'm like, oh wow, that person has a perfect life, and then you get to know them, and you're like, they're just as broken as I am, but they're handling it differently.
yeah.
We can learn from each other a lot through that. So I always like to end everything on, my granddaddy always said, be kind always. And I just feel like that's just kind of been my thing but it's been an absolute pleasure
Yes.
sitting and talking
yes,
to you.
this has been
An
awesome.
honor.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Pleasure. My pleasure. One of my relatives used to say, practice random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty.
Oh, I like that.
That's really
a lot.
cool.
So-
yeah.
Get on it.
All right. Thank you.
Over and out.
Peace.
Thank you. Peace out.